Good morning, everybody. It's the Happy Highlander. I'm in the tank. One wee cup of coffee before I start my work. So I was working on the tank yesterday all day and had quite an eventful day. Bloody hell. Right, here we go. That used to be my favourite cup. It still kind of sort of is. But it changed, you see, when I went to my pal's house and he's got the same cup. And I says to him, how can you be the best granddad in the world if I am? Or how can I be the best granddad in the world if you are? Do you know what we concluded, me and my pal? Your grandchildren, they lie to you. And we're aunties. Right, so yesterday I was working on the tank. And I had some fun, so I'll spin you around and I'll show you what I've been doing and what I intend to do today. So I decided to start taking the floor up, and I'm going to take all the floor up. Okay, that wee hole there, that's going to be the main event of this wee video, because it's quite a story. So what I'm going to do while I've still got a floor is I'm going to take all this steel out today. That's all coming out. And then there's this big pile of it there. That's some of the wood I took out yesterday. And that there, that black thing there, that has to do with those holes. So, all this steel's coming out first. Ta-da! All this. And yesterday I took out this box here. And since I took it out, the radio doesn't work. See, all those wires? I've got a phobia about that. I mean, I'm not scared of it, but it scares me, if you know what I mean. So the next job, once I've took the steel out, all this, will be taking the floor up. But I had fun yesterday because I thought, well, right, so that bit there, in here, that's where the leaf springs are. Right, and it used to make this noise, and it sounded like two battleships, two rusty old battleships having sex, grinding away at one another. So they were, every bloody bump in the road. It was horrible. So I tried to get under it and get some grease on it. I've ordered some spray grease and that, and I did my best, and I kept putting on, and I just couldn't get in. It was too tight. So I thought, well, I'm going to take the floor up at that bit, and then at least I can get to it and try and fix it. And then when I took up that bit there, I thought to myself, well, I'm just going to carry on, because it was something I was thinking about doing. And I know it's a big job, but it's the right thing to do, because it means that I can get in amongst it. I can clean all the chassis, because you can see, I mean, that's all rusty. We don't want that. This is my new house, and if it isn't going to be mine, it's going to be somebody's. So I'm going to do it right, for me or for whoever. I took up all the carpets there, but so it means I can get in amongst it, because I know under here-ish there's loads and loads of space. So then I can look at where I'm going to undersling my water tanks, fresh water and grey, and maybe put the batteries in there. I'm not sure. I don't know if there's enough room, but I'll make boxes that are insulated, and then sling them under there and have a hatch, and then that will free up a lot of space, because that boot area can do it, but I've got lots and lots of tools. I mean, I can put my lathe in there, I can put my table saw in there, fold it all down and have that in there. If I can free up that space, then there'll be a lid on that bit, and then up to there, that'll be like a boot garage, and then in there will be my mowers and my strummers for my day-to-day work. So, the funny story, right? So there was a big box there, down there in the ground. Big box there, and it was a black box, and it had a fan on it, so it's a heater. I thought, right, well, I'll get rid of that, and then we can start picking up the floor and whatnot. So I unscrewed it, and there was a bit at the back that was still holding it down. So I was shuggling it and shuggling it and shuggling it, and then water started pouring out. So coming out of those two holes, oops, there was two pipes, right? Two copper pipes that went into the wee black heater. There, get my bloody fingernails, are filthy. Right, so water started pouring out, all down here. I was like, oh no, what's going on? And I thought, oh, because I'm good at some things, but I'm rubbish at mechanics and electrics. It's just, you know, a foreign bloody thing to me, foreign language to me. Anyway, and I thought, I hope that's not attached to the radiator, because there's loads of water. So I turned the engine on, and the water started coming out, only for a minute, and then it stopped, and I thought, oh great, that's super. That means that it isn't attached to the radiator, because there's no water coming out of it. So that was it, happy days, carried on. So then I went to the shop last night to get a pizza and a couple of beers to wash it down. So as I'm driving back from the shop, everything was fine going to the shop. The tank was driving great, you know, and quite really surprisingly responsive, you know, when you put your foot down. Not that I drive fast, you know that. I mean, I actually took him to 30 mile an hour last night. So I did. Aye. Anyway, and so I'm coming back from the shop, and I've got my beers down on the floor there, and one of them came out, and it rolled about, and it, oops, all over here, and it's hit some sharp, jaggy metal somewhere, and it was spraying absolutely everywhere. It was all over the place, and that was it. So by the time I managed to stop, I just pulled up quick to get it away, and there was none of it left practically, and then there was a car behind me, so I had to like quickly jump in this seat. So I drove up to the lochside, to the monument where I often make a wee video, and just cleaned it up, you know, and put the empty thingy in the bin, and I just sat there, and I rolled a wee smoke for my way home, and I met a smashing guy, a couple, and he's called Manchester Van Life, and I met him and his soulmate Sheila. They both got a camper van each, and they live in them full time as far as I can gather, and they're up here at the lochside. So they came to say, oh, are you going to convert it? And they really like the tank, and so I told him I've got a YouTube channel. He says, oh, I've got one. So now we've just subscribed to one another. So I recommend him. He's called Manchester Van Life. Aye. So that was that. So I had a lovely chat with them, had a wee laugh, and then I set off home, and everything was fine. Tank was driving great, you know. I'm driving at 30 mile an hour. Oh, the wind in my hair, and then I looked down at the temperature gauge, and it was in the red. Bloody hell! So that thing was obviously attached to the radiator. So now I need to fix it. I could show you, but it's pissing it down with rain. But I'll show you anyway. I'll show you what I have to do, and then you can wish me luck, because I'll upload this, and then this evening or tomorrow morning I'll do another wee video and show you how far I got with this this very noisy day I'm going to have. But it's going to be good. I'll try and show you. It's going to be difficult because you've got to lie down on the ground. Maybe I can show you. Wait. Oh, I hurt my back doing this the other day. Right, where's those pipes? Oh, it's back there. Wait, bear with me. You getting there? So, where? That's them. There, them bloody two. Right, if I can hold that down. You can probably, can you see? Right, so what I have to do is make a U-bend. you can see that that's a rubber pipes, and they've got Jubilee clips, and then there was an inlet and an outlet that went into a wee radiator inside the heater. So I just have to make a U-bend and couple them back up again, and then once the flow's out, that'll make it easier, of course, and then I can just tie them up somewhere until I can get this into the garage and get it sort of you know, cut off properly, because you know, anyway, that's it. I'm bloody soaking. Wait a minute, it's going to take me 10 minutes to get up now. I'm lying on my back in the pissing rain. Oh, my bloody bag. Right. You wouldn't believe I was only 23, would you? Oh. Do you know what? It's 9 years ago today since I moved into the cottage. 9 years ago today. Flippin' heck. What weather? I love the weather. I love all the weather. Aye, people say, oh, we're in for some weather. You always got bloody weather, no matter what the weather. Anyway, but I'm really looking forward to moving into the time, but something to tell you. The whole thing blows hot and cold. You know, I'm a homeboy. I'm a homeboy, me. I love my garden. Why you get emotional? I love my garden. And I love feeding the wee birds. I love stability. You know, I love doing my art things around my house and making it interesting for people. You know, many times I've seen people taking photographs of my silly nonsense, you know, around the garden here. And I'll miss all that. And I'll certainly miss the wee birds, because I love feeding the wee birds. I mean, I'll show you what I've done. Just done this today. Aye, kiddo, I'll zoom you in if I can. Aye, I can. You see, top of the fence there. That's just some old cheap spaghetti and some potatoes. Aye, some potatoes that grow legs. They look like fat green spiders, so they did. Anyway, so I just boiled them all up, and the birds don't mind. And I certainly missed that. And the biggest thing is, well, the second biggest thing, or the two biggest things. One's my grandchildren. Because when my grandchildren come here, they camp in the garden. You see, they're city boys. They live in the towns and the cities, and they don't get to do things like that. I mean, we can do it when I'm living in the tank, you know. But if I get my own house, you know, we can do all that, and they can grow up and have brilliant memories that way at Grandad's house, you know. So that's something that's very important. And then there's the workshop. I've mentioned that before. You know, for me to not have a workshop, I don't know, it'd be like a bereavement. So it would. Anyway, so last week I had to get a taxi because I had a blowout in the wee van, and the tank was in Glasgow. That's right, and the spare for the wee van was flat. Aye, that's me and vehicles and me and mechanics, rubbish. And anyway, so I got a taxi, and it was my good pal Jürgen, big German guy, you know. He's a great guy. He speaks Scottish and German, so he does. He once had a face on him, you know. And I went. I think he picked me up for some taxi work. I used to work alongside him with the taxis, and I seen his face. I said, "What's the matter with you?" He goes, "Och, I'm in a bad mood." I mean, he says "och," German and Scottish. Anyway, I said, "I can see that. What's happened?" "Och, one of the veins broke the wee windy." That always makes me laugh, right? Because in English you'd say, "Oh, I'm in a bad mood because one of the children broke the little window." And in Scottish you'd say, "Oh, I'm in a bad mood. One of the wains broke the wee windy." But because V's are W's in German and W's are V's, my big pal says, "Oh, I'm in a bad mood. One of the veins broke the wee windy." Aye, that's my pal. Smashing big fella, help anybody. Anyway, case in point. So I'm in the taxi, we're talking away. Had a great time because it was a taxi to the village to drop off the wheel. Gary was going to fix it the next day, and then Jürgen was going to bring me home. And I nipped to the shop to get a couple of supplies. It was a Friday. And we had a great time because I've not seen him for ages, and I'm fond of the guy, you know. And anyway, we were talking about a house that I inquired about when I first got the eviction notice, and he said, when was that? I said, that'll be sort of June or July, was it? And I didn't get anywhere, and he said, well, try again. And he messaged somebody who then messaged him back, and then they told me to phone the estate. So I phoned the estate this morning, had a chat with a lovely lassie, and I'll find out next week. If it's going to be available. I think it's lying empty, and it's been lying empty for a long time. It's a beautiful house. It's like this, but it's even better because it's on the sunny side of the water, of the loch, and there's a woodpecker. Right, on that lot. Anyway, I'll keep talking, I'll show you the woodpecker. There he is. Right. Aye, so it's on the other side of the water, and it's beautiful. It's a long single-storey cottage, but it's got a massive workshop. Oh, honestly, you could probably put my wee cottage in the workshop. Well, you could put my cottage in the workshop. It's that big, and it's got an inspection pit. You know, for working on your vehicle, and as you know, I have to have a lot of work done on a lot of vehicles. 9 years, 9 vehicles, so I have. So the thing is, that means what will I do with the tank? If it comes to it, I'll probably have to sell the tank because it's up quite a hill, and I don't think I could get this thing up there. It'll be an awful shame in some respects because my channel was about doing, you know, living in this, but that's still happening, you know, at this stage. However, if I was to be offered a beautiful cottage with land and a workshop, and I can carry on the way I live my life now, I think I would rather do that. I mean, I'm 57 a week today, you know. Although I suppose there'll be a part of me that will be thinking, if I do get that house, thinking, oh, you know, that adventure, but we'll have plenty of adventures anyway. You know, it's beautiful. You want to see it. It backs into the trees. It's up the hill. You can see Glencoe. You can see Schiehallion. You can see most of the loch. And it's got a smashing big workshop. Flipping heck. Plenty of space to put up polytunnels and grow veggies. And I'm going to get a wee dog, you know. Still going to get a wee dog called Hank. And it'll be great. Millions of places for the children to run around in the trees. Aye, it's brilliant. And then you can walk up the hill, and then there's a wee burn, and there's waterfalls. One of my best pals, Andy, he used to live in it years and years ago, and he's like me. He's an explorer, loves the outdoors, you know. So there you go. So that's that. As you can hear, it's absolutely chucking it down. Thank goodness I'm inside. But that skylight leaks, but that's coming out anyway. I've told you that before. Oh, funny. Get back out a wee bit. Aye, that thing. That's going to come out. I'm going to blank that off with some steel. But around about that area, because I smoke, I'm going to have an extractor fan, a big one, because I don't want it smelling. And then where I think about where I am here-ish, there'll be another extractor fan about there-ish, because that is about-ish where my kitchen's going to be. Well, we'll not be lighting that fire today, will we? Right, it's alright for you lot. I've got this shit to do. Enjoy your day. And I'll try and do my very best to do the same. But I'll give you, we'll do this as part 1. and then we'll do part 2 maybe later this evening or tomorrow. Okay, God bless you guys. Cheery bye.